Hey, so we are live. Okay, that's great. Hello, everyone. So, welcome back to Crypto Conversation. We have a very special guest today with me on Crypto Conversation, the founder of Instacrypto.com, a brand new cryptocurrency exchange. And we are going to ask him questions on how does he see the cryptocurrency status in India, and what's his vision and mission on Instacrypto. So join us and share this live stream with as many people as possible so that everyone, if you have any question on Instacrypto, please put that in the chat box. Welcome, Vikram.
I'm good. Thank you very much, Shiv.
So you've been into the space for a very long time. You have worked for a couple of companies before into cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, having a vast experience. Let's start by, would you like to share yourself, give your introduction for the people who might not know you?
Yeah, I could do that. My name is Vikram. Okay, the way I started understanding about cryptocurrency is quite different to a lot of people. I was living in the UK. I was holding some assets like house and a few things. The price of it changed in 2008 and 9. So what that made me actually understand why the suddenly a house or a plot or like those kind of things don't change in India. And I come from India, so for me in the UK it was very surprising that the price of my house suddenly dropped to half. So when I looked for answers, I came across this Bitcoin like quite a few times. For the first time, I completely ignored it. The second and third time I just read about it and I thought probably it's an alternative to credit cards by the banks. But eventually I realized it is not by the banks, it's by the people, it's for the people, and it's powered back to people. The only reason why it is there is because they didn't like the control of the financial system by the few banks, and they could hyperinflate the house pricing and make it collapse. So those are the things is very new to me, and I just like got onto it and did a little bit of more research. By 2010, I realized that this was very important, and I wanted to, pursue this as a career. So I studied for a year in finance and accounting, and a little bit of economics and everything. So I did that for a year, and in 2011, I bought a few cryptos just to try it out.
Wow.
And that time,
that would be pretty cheap, isn't it?
yeah. There was only one exchange at the time, was Mt. Gox, and I didn't want to
Correct.
link my bank account. The only other option I had was to get a registration on Bitcoin forum, which is bitcointalk.org at that time, and still there.
Right.
So I registered on that, and I looked around for people, and I said, okay, if somebody's mining at home, at that time GPU mining was happening, and Bitcoin was all on GPU. So ASIC had not just come in, and CPU had just like gone off. ASIC was just like the few people only. So a couple of GPU miners like sold me a few Bitcoins, and all I wanted to know was understand how it works. So I held it in my own wallet, and at that time you could only download a full wallet. It would download like almost 30 GB is what I had maximum on my computer. That I discontinued the full wallets at that time after that. I downloaded that Bitcoin wallet, and then I held a couple of Bitcoins that I bought. I bought 10 Bitcoins on that time. And I moved on. I wanted to go and travel the world and see how this really affects, on how this was going to be used. Guess what? 2 years I traveled from 2011 till the beginning of 13. Zero knowledge. I did not find even one person in the whole of my 15 countries that I traveled who could talk to me about Bitcoin, who knew about Bitcoin, or had any clue on Bitcoin. So I realized this is so new, and it is so undiscovered. And when I came to Bangalore, surprisingly Bangalore had a couple of people who knew about it. There was meetups, there was this interest that was showing up by the people. So I realized, Bangalore being my hometown, why not set base of Bitcoin here. Started with meetups. Eventually with meetup, the idea came up that the people in our meetups was finding it hard to buy Bitcoin. So we realized we had to set up an exchange. That will be the first exchange. The inception of UnoCoin happened then. The idea of UnoCoin was to just make sure that we deliver Bitcoins to the Indian public in India with Indian bank accounts. That was the idea of UnoCoin. So we started off there, recruited Satvik and gave the job of doing the technical bit. Now he is managing that. Good going. That was my first initiative with Bitcoin exchange in India.
Yeah.
Moving on, Go on.
So you were a part of UnoCoin, and I mean that's great. And now you're setting up your own Instacrypto exchange. So that's amazing because most people don't even know that you're a part of the UnoCoin team.
It's because I was so early. I was even before Satvik. So people only know about the person who's now managing it as CEO. So this was set up by me. It was incorporated by me. It was me and another guy who brought in the name. And almost like 8 months before we launched UnoCoin, the UnoCoin name was already been published and used around the internet, linked to something like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, because we would get a lot of information to be shared with people, because a few people would be the only ones who knew about Bitcoin. And surprisingly, there was one girl who came to us first. She came to us. She said, "I'm doing a job for this guy in the US. He wants to pay me in Bitcoin. How do I use that? And how do I, go about it?" Those kind of things we came across in our meetups. So that was very, in the initial days of cryptocurrency in India. So moving on from there, go on.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting because it clearly goes to show that, I mean, you've been there right from the beginning, so that's like most people would love to be there where, where you started. So most people would love to start from 2011 or 2010. And then, you've seen the how space has really grown. And
that is something that I really have. And when I talk to few people, or the only ones who can understand that, the ones who've seen cryptocurrency, I mean to say specifically Bitcoin, before even it had value, there were conversations about Bitcoin going to be big. And trust me, at that time, it did not even have value. So the first time it got value was when in 2010 somebody made a payment for this, 10,000 Bitcoins for a $10 equivalent pizza. That's when it was actually moved in value. But knowing it from before gives a different perspective to it completely, because by 2011, I think a lot of people have not even heard about it. At that time, I read blogs where these guys had written saying that if you have 10 Bitcoins is more than enough. Like, how did he guess about those things? Like, how did he know about those things? So those things were like really nice to know about it. At that time, the only issue that I had was I could not meet anybody in person to, converse about Bitcoin. The only few things that I know was by online, everything online. I got my information, I got my understanding, and the people that I spoke to was all online. So that was the only difference. Till 2013, I would say, I couldn't meet anybody to speak about it and, converse in this idea. But that was just one of those things.
Yeah, he was right, but the 10 Bitcoins are really worth a lot worth today. Okay.
That is right today, but Satoshi was one of the greatest guys, of course, or the group of people who created this. They knew a lot of things. In the white paper and in a lot of blogs before it had value, they were talking about why it was there. It was one of the main reasons was that they wanted to have a parallel system to the existing financial, monopoly that is going on.
Right.
The West controls a lot more than what we can see in India, because 97% of the people in the West are dependent on banks. So they have a lot more hold on these people, and then they can manipulate the people's mind and how they want it. One of the simple reasons I can give you, they just shook hands between each other. I will tell you about UK because I lived in UK for 7 years. 7 big banks are responsible for this financial crisis in the UK. They shook hands saying that, okay, if we increase value for our loans and our housing, we will be in control. So they started giving out loans to everybody who cannot afford housing, eventually to bring the housing prices up. Once they couldn't pay, and once the defaulters were bigger than the payers, it collapsed. And what did they benefit out of it? They benefited the people's control. They eventually will have people paying them back for now more than 25 years. They're happy with that because they eventually will keep getting money from these people. So those kind of controls were to be tackled through cryptocurrency. Then that kind of understanding very few people have today, because a lot of people today understand it only because the price rise. So price is not the only factor in cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is bringing back, a democracy to currency. It's separating the state and the, and the money. If you combine the government and the money, which is then it's too poisonous, because the government is there to make money, and then you're giving them the control of the money also. That shouldn't be there. That should be divided, and separated. That's what crypto was all about at the time. Well, I'm still talking about all those things. I'm still building, processes accordingly to those ethos of how crypto was started. Because you want to give those kind of features that banks are giving it to people without the control. So that's what crypto gives you. It's decentralized for a reason. Those are the things which I wanted to push. It's going really well. The few exchanges was the initial exchange that I built was the need of the hour. The need of the hour was Indians couldn't buy Bitcoin in India easily without sending dollars outside India. We made that possible in India. Now the next step was making a lot of other options that is there in the financial world. I mean to say, banks are not the only financial system. There is Western Union, there is MoneyGram. What are they doing differently? Correct. Is what we want to build on cryptocurrency. That's the idea, and we're trying to build those things now.
I can clearly see that. I mean, you are talking from the philosophy point of view, which most people actually miss out for the whole reason of why cryptocurrency and Bitcoin really exist. It really exists to solve the problem of that central banking, the bank's monopoly. And you're right, when most people look at it from the investment point of view, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but the main purpose of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin is actually that democracy, the freedom,
yes,
from the central system. And I can't, I mean, looking at Instacryptos, I was going through Instacrypto. I've been like going through a couple of days, and this one particular feature that you have mentioned here is Instacrypto, that we make you the owner of your cryptocurrencies, right? And I think I know where it's coming from, because you're still following the same rules of cryptocurrencies. So I would love for you to talk about that feature, because none of the exchanges have ever started this feature, and this is pretty unique, to be honest, for the people who are going to hold it, or maybe that's the whole idea of cryptocurrencies,
yeah,
to become the owner, to take the control of the private key and the public key and all that. So just tell us a little bit about that, and because most people are not aware of this feature, I guess.
You're right. Actually, that makes a lot of difference. So when I learned about Bitcoin, because I can understand when very few people were there to talk to me or explain me about it, even online, it took me a long time to understand. It almost took me 2 years. You won't believe it. Okay, from the day I heard it first till the day I bought Bitcoin, it was 2 years. So after that 2 years, when I bought, by the end of 2 years, I already thought I knew about it. And then when I was talking to a few family members that I had in the UK at that time, my cousin sister was there and my close friend was there, and a few, of course, my neighbors and my work colleagues. I used to talk about it. Nobody had a clue what was going on, and I used to tell them, okay, I can understand you're finding it hard to understand this. The reason it is hard is because for me also it took a long time, and I used to explain those things, and I realized after all this, I need to now buy, and I bought those Bitcoins, and I had to do all the work of, setting up a wallet on my desktop and, receiving these Bitcoins from these few miners that I met. You won't believe, the first time I bought like 2 Bitcoins, then 3.9 Bitcoins, and those kind of like in pieces. When I received them and I started using my wallet, I thought I've understood even more than what I understood before. So there was like so much to understand and to love about cryptocurrency after you used on your own wallet, and with your own work that you set up, and then you hold your private keys. You have the freedom to send, receive, instant, anywhere, anytime. It's portable. You carry it. It's divisible. You pay like 1 cent. I've sent 1 Satoshi. I've received 1 Satoshi from Benson at one time because he was helping me test in 2013. So those kind of things is possible. When it's possible, you feel, oh shit, this is so different. So I want to give that pleasure back to the people. That's I understand it's a little thing about the beginning. People don't have all the time to do the research and then do the work. For that reason, we try to make it easy as possible on our Instacrypto and other portals that I've built before, to make it a little bit friendly for people to straight away get into downloading their wallet and making it a little bit easier for them to set up their wallets and those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry.
Go on. No, go on.
So there are so many other things that you have done, actually, not just that. I mean, I was going through the. So you have written. Oh, there is an echo, I guess.
I'm fine here. It's sounding clear to me.
Okay. I think on the portal also you have mentioned, you have described each and every cryptocurrency. For example, what is Bitcoin, what is Ether, what is Litecoin. I mean, you really want people to know before actually they take an action. You know,
You're right.
so
You're
that's
right.
you're really working on the education part of it. So that, I mean, I'm you know, I can clearly see that you're trying to make cryptocurrency and Bitcoin simple for everyone because you have been through that phase.
Exactly. I think that experience is helping me out. It's very important, even at least 2 out of the 10 people who are indulging in cryptocurrency, if they understand the basics, if they understand how it's working and why it's there and what is the real, more features that it gives. Of course, the trading feature is one of them. It's like the gamble feature. But Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is also there as value transfer. It is also there as an asset. It is also there to do a lot of other, financial help to the people. So those kind of things is a wide range of users that's there. You can hold one Bitcoin and build a big company on itself. Like, you can divide a Bitcoin to 100 million shares. Each
Right.
Satoshi could be a share,
Right.
and whatever that you divide, you hold the track of those Satoshi address, and eventually that address you can increase the value of that particular one Satoshi itself. And if you compare it to other Satoshis, your Satoshi that you divided from your company, you keep a track of it. Wherever that gets moved, you still know that is your company Satoshi, and that Satoshi can be more valuable than the others. Those kind of features is there with crypto, can be explored in the future. Probably not right now because the users also has to understand all these things.
True.
So
True.
it's just the beginning, and in the beginning, at least we want to make sure that we bring in all these features and understanding to the public is what my interest was. And there
Perfect.
are a lot of other things which goes with that, which I cannot even explain because the experience everybody has is very unique to them, and understanding that they take from it is also very unique.
True, true. So we have like about 18 people watching us right now. So
Okay.
welcome everyone. If you have any questions, I think there are a lot of many questions already. So we have Vijay, Samdi, Akash, Satish, Amol, Andy, Raman. Very good audio and sound quality. Okay, Amol, Sobia. Okay, great. So, okay, so there are a few questions which are coming in. Some
Okay.
are related to the regulations, some exchanges. So, Amol is saying that some exchanges are closing in India, some new are coming up. Is this the sign that the future is good in India? India take positive step into crypto. What is your opinion, sir?
Absolutely true, 100% right. It is the positive step. The few exchanges which shut down, I've not really, gone into deep into understanding how it was going to help people. So this is the phase where shutting few and opening new, and probably the ones who shut also they come back with a new way of serving the public. Those are all the learning curves, and I think those are all the very positive the features to for crypto to be more adopted in India.
True. Um, Great. So before I have some questions for you as well.
Go ahead.
So there is one of the questions that Sobia is saying that tell us how is Instacrypto different? Please spread the word. So can you little, so before we actually go deep into it, I'm sure there'll be questions will be coming in from the viewers, but let's talk about Instacrypto for a bit. Of course, I have got the idea as to what exactly trying to build. But tell me, what's the mission of Instacrypto and how, as a product, it's different? What would be the USP? What would be the accelerator pitch for Instacrypto? And just give us a brief of Instacrypto in short.
Instacrypto is been launched after a lot of experience in cryptocurrency and in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It just didn't come in just one day before. The years of experience that we've put in that is close to 9 years of understanding in crypto and learning about crypto. So why Instacrypto is different to other exchanges to start with is because we want to give a holistic view of a cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Uh, with Instacrypto, you're at least able to learn more than just a part of the trading and holding as an asset. So those kind of things are the knowledge base and educational part of it. The reason why we do that is because today's users of crypto has to be like empowered to do more uses of cryptocurrency for the future. May be it blockchain use or be it the cryptocurrency adoption to a greater extent. Those kind of features is what we want to build. So for that, the small changes are that we don't provide wallets, because if you are a crypto lover and a crypto enthusiast, you're not just trading it, you're using it for multiple uses. For that, if you have a control of your own wallet and your own bitcoins and cryptocurrency, it makes it very, very easy. And you can diversify of the use of the cryptocurrencies. For that reason, we made Instacrypto as a wallet free. You come in with your own private wallet. If I may give a clear, graphs, we will all understand. We talk about hacking and losing cryptocurrencies. Where is this hacking happening? All in centralized exchanges where people are holding more amount of cryptocurrency of the people. Only those are getting hacked. Have you heard about any private wallet being hacked? No, never. Only thing that we hear about the private wallets is a few bugs that come into picture. Those bugs are nothing but a step closer towards making it perfect. It's the pursuit of using the cryptocurrency in your own hands. So that means if you download a private wallet that has been built by these open source developers around the world, they've made it so strong and so useful that I want people to get into those things so that they can use those existing great wallets that's available, which have never been hacked. The small bug that was ever there was that it had a flaw that one person tried to hack into this wallet, and maybe he didn't get any cryptos out of it. But he showed the wallet builder that there is a small bug in your wallet and you can fix that. And anybody who hacks into a wallet can never use that anywhere else, because that is very unique to that wallet. And the first time he does it is the only time he can, make use of that loophole. By the time he shows that there is a loophole, it gets fixed, and the remaining 99.99% of the users who are around the world gets an update on their wallet, and instantly those features have been fixed. Those kind of features are very strong with crypto private wallets. So I would like people to use those. And also with holding your own wallets, the USP of Instacrypto makes sure that if you were using cryptocurrency for a specific use, you don't want to now wait for the cryptocurrency to come into the exchange wallet. From there, you withdraw it to your own private wallet.
That becomes two transactions actually.
Yeah, exactly. With Instacrypto, you can just provide the wallet address where you want the end destination of the crypto to reach, and then we will make sure that it reaches. And everything is, the ledger of blockchain is so strong and so 100% accurate. We all know that. That's why blockchain is becoming so famous. The first place where the blockchain was used itself is a cryptocurrency. And the cryptocurrency, if you start understanding that it's so accurate, and whatever that we say that we're sending it to your XYZ and wallets, it can be tracked online. There is no way that you can spoof that or fake it. Those kind of things also makes a good understanding for people in terms of how the ledger of it is so strong, and the blockchain part of it is so useful in being transparent and widespread in terms of globally adopted. Those kind of features are very unique. We want to incorporate that in our exchange and also allow people to use our exchange to buy and sell. The idea of Instacrypto is not just make profits out of it as your fees. The fees is minimal to make sure that we run our projects, and also give that kind of features to the people where they understand cryptocurrency at a different level.
True. And there are a couple of unique features as well. Like, for example, you have mentioned it's just about so 5 minutes to place an order and complete a trade easily within 5 minutes, and then 30 minutes to receive your crypto or rupee received on your crypto wallet. So it's right. So and then 30 minutes for a KYC approval as well. So now this is a pretty fast exchange, and you actually, I mean, you say that this is what we are offering, right? Which is great, because still there are many exchanges which still have like 24 hours of withdrawal time, and I mean it becomes difficult. Today, let's say if you want to encash today, right? And you really don't want to wait for 24 hours. You can't wait till tomorrow. So if you did the transaction, you want the money in the bank today, or maybe crypto as well. Crypto are so volatile nowadays that if I did the transaction, if I bought a Bitcoin, it has to be in my wallet in like half an hour or whatever. How do you make these things possible, Vikram? Can you just take us through that? Starting from the placing order, how does that happen, and also the KYC and the rupee?
So placing order is we making it very simple. Like you go to an e-commerce website.
Right.
How do you go and buy a product? You choose a product. You look at it. You place an order for a number of products. It could be a T-shirt with worth just like 90 rupees. Then you want to buy 9. You want to just put in 9 T-shirts. You should automatically pick up 810 rupees. Those kind of features is to make it simple for people. It may not be for the first time. I cannot guarantee that for the first time, because for first time a lot of people find it. You have to look around to find things on the site. But as soon as you know the first time how it works, it makes it very easy for people. Whatever that time that we've set, 5 and 30 and 30, is actually an average person's time. And that is at the highest time. What we're trying to do is we tell you exactly what is going to be on the max. And we've been delivering it till now. Our average time is less than 15 minutes. So the whole process finishes in that 15 minutes sometimes. Okay. People who know how to just move on to one of the websites and able to place an order, they're able to do it even faster. And we are able to even set the crypto also faster. The way we operate at the back end, and in terms of what kind of features we use to evaluate, the receival of funds and receival of crypto, sending of funds and sending of crypto, is proprietary, ways that we have set up. It may not be completely open to public right now because it's under very clear testing and trying phase.
Got it.
Because certain things that we take a lot of risk on, we don't want to right now explain. Yeah. Because those are the things we want to test it and try it and finally figure it out that it's going to last forever. Then we can scale it. Because if you see, we have a small, amount which is as our maximum amount that you can do, which is only at 50,000. The reason we've kept that so that at this testing phase, we don't want to disappoint the people saying that we're going to serve you bigger amounts and not able to do that, stick to our promise. Yeah. Meanwhile, by keeping the maximum amounts low, we are able to, test at the highest, risk. And then we don't want to take the risk. We don't want public to take the risk. We don't want the users to, feel any kind of risk in that, because the public should be risk-free. The reason they should be risk-free because they have 9 days of knowledge about cryptocurrency, whereas we have 9 years of knowledge. We should be able to perform this better.
Correct.
So the reason that we want to build and make it public. Right now, it is a very small scale. When we want to build it at a larger scale, we want Indian public to make use of this kind of crypto features. Crypto features are like out of this world features. True. There are some features which Federal Bank in the New York, who have been printing a lot of money for themselves, like how you play Monopoly and keep stealing money from the bank and keep playing Monopoly and then keep losing. That's what Federal Bank is doing. They have a lot of money and they have built some features with a lot of money that they are running as a proprietary, features. That feature has been given out to public on a free scale through cryptocurrency, through Bitcoin was the first one to show. I can give you one example. It's called a SWIFT system. SWIFT system has been built by the Federal Bank in the United States, in New York. The government of New York, who's a private, partnered with Federal Bank, which is private. Federal Bank is all private bankers. They're not government, they're not public oriented, they're only private oriented. They think about their own profits. Those people have built this SWIFT feature. A SWIFT feature allows any bank of their company, which is, if you say HSBC is in US, HSBC is in Australia also, and in Russia also. So with SWIFT feature, they do instant settlements at the end of the day. That feature is very important for banking because they're able to move on with their commerce quickly because of the feature that they have to instantly settle between each other. So those kind of features they built as SWIFT, and they control that very highly. They put sanctions on other countries, like Russia was been put on a sanction about a few years ago when the Ukraine war was happening. And one of the sanction part was SWIFT system. They said, Russia, you cannot use our SWIFT system anymore. It's because they own that. That's why. With cryptocurrency, that kind of part of SWIFT system is free for public to use at any point of time, at any number of times that they want to use per day, or any small transaction that can use the SWIFT system and they finish the transaction and the settlements between each other. Those kind of features are very, highly regarded in crypto space, and those things come for free. And those things come for free, come for without any cost, comes at like a public domain. Those things are very important features. Those are the things we wanted to make at least some of it, to make it public to people, to show that cryptocurrency is all about, instant, all about fast, it's all
Fast.
about cheap. Those kind of
Exactly.
things we make, trying to make it possible through Instacrypto.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies have really given power back to people.
Yeah.
You're right. And okay, so I want to pick up a couple of questions from here. Okay, okay. Andy is asking that how does one start a cryptocurrency exchange?
Okay, so you want to go all about the crypto exchange itself. So I would say first steps, I'm not too sure if you've already done it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you already hold your own crypto, you hold your own wallets.
Right.
That's a basic start. Understand that first, and then move on to say a little bit of trading, a little bit of asset holding, shift to multiple cryptocurrencies, download your own wallets, download a full load wallet, try and see if you can do some mining at home. All this is basics to understand. Once you understand all of that, you don't have to completely understand. Experience it by investing your time and effort in it. Then you can think about starting an exchange.
Yeah.
Because if you start an exchange with less knowledge about cryptocurrency, or the depth about the way that it has, like mining part of it, those hardware part of it, coding part of it, all that, do a little bit of everything, so that then you will get an understanding about what part of exchange you will be good at and how should you start an exchange. Then you can definitely ask a question in a little bit more in depth than that. Today, if you say how you can jump into it, if you've already done all that and if you want to go into it and then you want to ask question about that, I could say then look up a little bit more online and then read about a few people who've done this already.
Yeah.
Because that's free knowledge. That means you've not spent your time, you've not spent your money on getting that knowledge. You're freely getting it from somebody else. All you have to just do is spend some time reading about those blogs and understand what they did and how they did and what kind of difficulties they found on the way to their exchange.
It's just like having another startup, and it's like a baby, like getting into entrepreneurship and starting a new business, and it's as challenging as any other, I'm sure.
You're right. You're 100% right. Yes.
Yeah.
So it has its own downside, being cryptocurrency very new. Very few people would give you that kind of information, that kind of experience. You might have to search deeper into the web and try and find your answers. Once you feel you're satisfied and have enough funding or enough backing, then why not try it? Because a lot of people that I've known, 90% of the exchanges who've done it have tried multiple, coded websites. They're not satisfied with one, they've moved on to another. Only when they have tried those things, they know what their idea was. Is it really published out into the website? It might not be. Then you might have to redo it again. Those things are a personal experience that you will experience it when you start.
Exactly. The more the knowledge, the more information you have, you are reducing the risk.
Yes.
You're
saving time and money.
Because it's about spending on time and money, and if you're not sure, okay, great. Okay. Sobia is saying another issue we have with the exchange is the price difference with respect to the international market. The price difference usually don't reflect soon with the exchanges in the market. So in my take on this, the price is, I believe that Bitcoin basically and cryptocurrencies are not really a national currency. So there is no question at all of international or national price, but it's more of a global price.
Yeah.
And I have come across many countries. For example, US has a different price tag. India have different price. South Korea is always like 30% premium. But would like to hear what's your take on that, Vikram?
You're 100% right on those things. The price is different to every country, depending on what specifically they're doing in their country, and the interest in their country makes that price difference. Say for example, in terms of economics, they clearly say demand and supply, right?
Sure.
That works in crypto space very clearly the same way. What I mean by that is the demand in China, even though there are many people, is higher, of course, but the supply is also higher. So say 90% of the mining are more or less related to China. They build the hardware probably, or they're mining it themselves there. So that means more cryptocurrency is being produced in China. and compared to that, there are less buyers. So what happens? The price will reduce. In India, the price of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is always higher. It has been higher since a couple of years, and it has been 90% in time, more times higher in India than in outside. The reason that happens is because the demand in India is more than the supply. Have you heard about many miners in India? No, we don't have many miners. We only have a resellers and asset holders who want to sell the cryptocurrency, and buyers are more. So the sellers are few, buyers are more. Obviously, the price has to go up. So the price is higher in India at all times. The premium it's running on. Also, with in terms of when you say South Korea, South Korea's price is higher. It has been high since at least a year and a half. Like you said, 30% was one time. It was 30% higher. I don't know if it had touched more than 30%, but it has definitely touched that. 30% is a lot of premium, right? The reason it is happening is because South Korea follows Japan very closely in terms of technology, in terms of a lot of day-to-day thing. South Korea is a big follower of Japan, and this 30% premium happened just after Japan made cryptocurrency completely legal in their country. That means you could hold that as an asset, you could use as a trading tool, you can make payments to people in cryptocurrency, you can use cryptocurrency online to buy things. Those are very clear, instructions given to people saying that it is completely legal. The government and the banks in Japan will back you completely when you use this as a currency in all these fields. When they did that, South Korea went berserk. South Korea said, "Oh my God, Japan! We're following Japan so much, and now that Japan has made it legal, it has to be legal. There is no two ways about it." The people automatically jumped into conclusion saying that if Japan has made it legal, South Korea has to make it legal very soon. So they went on to buying sprees. So that's when the price went up. So suddenly, if there are 100% more buyers, your price has to go double, right? Say there are 50 buyers and 50 sellers. 50 sellers selling one crypto each, 50 buyers buying one crypto each. Now suddenly, if there are 100 crypto buyers, they want 100 crypto to be bought and only 50 for sale. So the price has to go up. It's pure demand and supply. So that happened in South Korea. It's continuing to happen. Whatever that regulation that we say, oh, it just becomes straight and they're controlling on the exchanges. They are, asking the exchanges to shut down because they're not regulated. Those things are very small in terms of the change that is happening, because the media is what making it a bigger hype. The real fact is that the people love cryptocurrency in South Korea. They love the part that Japan has made it legal and their country has also made it legal. The buying spree is more. The mining and holding is very less, so the price is higher. So those kind of things affect it geographically in terms of cryptocurrency, because in Bitcoin alone, Bitcoin adoption is equal, I would say, more or less inside the world. Every country, say in India, if you have 50,000 people loving Bitcoin, 50,000 divided by number of people, it'd be X percentage, and the same percentage is more or less all over the world. I come from UK. Even in UK, we think that there is more adoption because we hear a lot more in media and we see a lot more people, blogging about it and things like that. But more or less, adoption is similar.
True, and I think I see that countries like Japan, and they are recognizing this as a powerful invention, So there is no reason why other countries won't do that. And also on the price front, why it's going up, because I see there is less people who are selling it off, and there are more people who want to buy it off and hold it off.
Yeah.
So, okay. Andy, no. Sandy says that we need something like Binance in India as well, which is crypto to crypto.
Yeah. I think just a step closer to those things. With a lot of exchanges coming up, there are some exchanges who are thinking about those things too. They are allowing crypto to crypto change to happen. If you understand crypto to crypto, you really not indulging into Indian INR. So because Indian INR is not involved in a crypto to crypto exchange, it doesn't matter where the exchange is set up. You still be able to access those exchanges if you have the right KYC.
Doesn't really matter whether it is in India or whether in China or US. If it is a crypto to crypto, it just like logging into and buying. I mean, Binance, I don't know where Binance is, maybe in Singapore, but you know, you log into every day. I mean, it never gives you a feeling of whether it's in India, and so that's the beautiful part about about internet and cryptocurrency as a whole.
Yes.
So
I would guess once adoption is a little bit more than 50%,
yeah,
then these kind of exchanges may be anywhere in the world. Everybody in the world can use it. So suddenly everybody in the world become a global person. That's the beauty of cryptocurrency. When I lived in the UK, a person who's born in London would never think London is or the UK is his business market. He always thinks his business market is the global market. You know, he wants to do any kind of business. He's thinking about how Japanese would buy, how an African would buy from me. Like, do we think about that? No, we don't think about that, because in India we have a great Indian market. I wouldn't, decline that. We have Make in India, and a great number in population. We have a bigger market, so we really don't have to think about global market, because if you serve Indian market is more than enough. But the idea of us being global is not there. Why? Is because we are restricted in our finances, where we cannot move funds in and out of India very easily because the banks are not supportive of that. But how come a bank which is in London is supportive of that to a London person or a person from New York? The reason is because their banks think their people are global, should allow them to do a global business. So that kind of thing is not there in other parts of the world. With crypto, it comes to everybody in the world. That's one of the beauty about cryptocurrency.
True. Andy says this is the best interview till now I have heard on YouTube. Guest is giving so much of depth information.
Oh, thank you very much, Andy. It's always a pleasure. It's only a knowledge, and the more I share, the more I feel our people are empowered. The more our Indians are empowered, the more better it gets eventually on crypto space. It's a win-win situation.
Right.
So if I can jump in,
please.
There was one regulation part of it question.
Yeah.
So I'll give you some of my inside experience that I have, so that might help a public in terms of understanding how Indian government is thinking about cryptocurrency. So the first time ever an Indian government institute at a bigger level called us to talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency was on the 1st of January 2014. So 1st of January 2014, they wanted to call us and talk to us was only because we did a launch of our first exchange, and we did a big conference in Bangalore. The conference was 100% successful. Whatever we thought, we did, and we crossed beyond. So in those terms, what we mean crossing beyond is like we called about 35 different media outlets from India, mainly from Bangalore, of course. So all these media outlets, like out of the 35, 30 refused to come.
Oh.
And they had different things to say also. They said, get out of our office, man. You guys are like doing parallel currency to the Indian government. You're going to be kicked out of India or put in jail. Those kind of extreme words have been told to us. Well, of course, he was joking about it, but he meant the point. So those kind of things happened in the media space in that time. We went to media space in person. We walked into their office. We explained ourselves. We told what we're doing. And we introduced Bitcoin to them, and we did all that. So with all that, there was very little adoption, very little thing there in 2013. They took it very differently. Only Hindu took it a little bit positively. Hindu had already done a project on cryptocurrency at that time.
The newspaper.
Yeah, the newspaper Hindu.
Yeah.
They were a bit more knowledgeable than any other.
Yeah.
So with all that, what happened was we thought of it doing a pre-round of conference and calling some more media guys, so that they get a little bit more interested in it and a little bit more understanding. So we called them from 5, then we moved to 10 to 15 by the time of the conference. And I would say by the real conference when we had on the 15th of December 2013, out of 35 we had 30 people. Think about all the 35, we had given them free tickets. We had charged close to 9,000 rupees per person at that time, but all the media people had it for free. So by pushing it so much, we got 30%, like about 90% of the people. So 30 out of 35 came. When they came in halfway, some of them, like I would say one of the main ones was Times of India guys. One of them had some hair on his head and he was just pulling the hair. out of his head. He said, what is this going on in this world about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and everything? How come we've never heard about it? How come this is such a big conference? How come so many people are talking about it? I said, we came to your office, we told you about all this. It is difficult to understand because people are used to staying in the system that has been set already. They are busy in their own system. They're busy in their life now that it's going on. And being whatever that they're doing in the past, they want to just continue doing that. They don't have time to indulge in the new things. So cryptocurrency was completely new. They had no idea, and they got a lot of information then. After that, January 1st, 2014 was the first time we called, right? We were called to the IT, Income Tax Office in Bangalore. They had pretty big heads also who came to the Income Tax Office at that time and spoke to us. And they had very basic questions. I don't want to, undermine them by saying what kind of questions they asked, but their questions were very basic, that their understanding was very basic, their research was very basic. So they one of the questions that they revolved around was, how many people in India have how many Bitcoins? That was out of the,
This was back in 2014?
Yeah, 1st of January 2014.
Okay.
So after talking to that, after talking to them, even I realized that, oh my God, it is so sad that, such a high-profile office and with high-profile people who came from outside Bangalore and everything to talk to us, but they have such basic questions, means they have no time to indulge in any research, no idea about what is going on in the world. So those kind of things was important to, teach those people. So we started doing a lot of, blogs and a lot of talking and a lot of material in terms of writing. To make them understand. So even with DSCI and NASCOM, we approached them, and they also felt very happy that we had something to talk about. So they started calling us for all these RBI meetings. I made many trips to Bombay to talk to these RBI people to get them understand a little bit more crypto. At one conversation, I remember like 9 out of 10 were just talking about what is going on in existing world, and I had to put a stop on that. I was like, please stop this at 1 minute and then try and understand what you're talking about. You're talking about what are those projects that are all redundant. These things, even if you put a lot of time and effort on it, you will not use it in the future. Try and understand this blockchain. Try and understand this crypto. This is going to change the world. If you understand this, your systems will change completely and start serving the better side of the public. And those kind of things I had to do and put my step down. These things happened then. So around these things is when the regulation part came in picture, right? What did the Indian government say? They said first time wait and watch. End of 2013, they said they're going to do a wait and watch policy. That means they're going to allow Indian people to explore into these things and let the Indian public use it and then learn from them and also make the regulation accordingly. That was a great start, I would say, from RBI when they did that. The next point they said in RBI was cryptocurrency is a very volatile and very high risk commodity or product or currency, whatever that is, we don't know. But it is a very high risk thing, and anybody who indulges in it will lose high value. So please don't go into it unless you know what you're doing and you have done your research. Why did they say that? Is because 2013 end, the price of Bitcoin suddenly rose from $200 to $1,000. Say it had ever touched was 20,000 rupees and suddenly it becomes 75,000 rupees. So because it gained so much value and lost a little bit in the initial 1 week, it lost about 15,000. So they thought that was the great value, right? Because what we've seen today is lakhs. But before this, in 2013, we saw in thousands, and that was the really high price. So because of that, they came up with this answer. And eventually, that is what they stuck to. Even today, whatever Mr. Arun Jaitley says is also exactly on the same grounds. They're saying what it was said in the past. Cryptocurrency is a high priced and high volatile and high players commodity or a currency or a tool. If you indulge in it, you should do it on your own risk. In terms, he said it in a word saying that you cannot use this as payment and settlements. It is not legal to be used. We will not back you if you use it as payment and settlements. That is very clear. Means if you buy a property or a land or a car with cryptocurrency, the person who's taking it should do his own research, because if he's taking for 50 lakh rupees worth of property, if he takes it in cryptocurrency and suddenly if the value of it drops, he will lose out 25 lakhs or 50% of the value. True. He cannot go back to the government and complain with the government. Government is, clearly telling you, you have to do your own research. Don't come to us if you lose a lot of value. That's the same thing what Mr. Arun Jaitley is saying. The other part of it, which is the trading and holding it as an asset, they're openly saying that you can do it. Why? Because the IT department has clearly set a rule that if you're holding it as an asset and selling cryptocurrency after it is gained in value, you will gain capital gains. You have to pay tax on the capital gains. If you didn't have the capital gains, you can't pay the tax. How will you have capital gains? Because cryptocurrency is legal, you are allowed to hold it as an asset and use it as an asset and gain it from it as a capital gains. Also, you can use cryptocurrency openly and legally as trading tool, is because if you trade and make income on it, you should be paying income tax on it. That's what they're asking for it. That means it's 100% legal. The only part which we as users should understand and learn about it is the use of payments and settlements. Indian government says if you did as payments and settlements, don't come to us, we will not back you. Means on a smaller scale, go ahead and do it, use it. If you don't do it on your own, we will not learn about it. That's what is wait and watch policy. And when you do it in large amounts, please make sure that you do more research on it and doing in large amounts. They cannot openly say it is legal to do large amounts because they have to back it also at the same time. Only 3 countries today in this world have done that. Japan, South Korea and Germany have said that you can use this as payment and settlements. In India, they will say it soon because they're taking some time to understand on their own. Let them take their own time, understand it. Till that time, we as our self-regulated people should know how to use this by then. And with small amounts, it shouldn't be a problem. That's why our Instacrypto also, we have set limits at 50,000 so that we have more people using our system with less volumes, so that we have more people, understanding about it and learning about it better than the other ways of learning about cryptocurrency.
You've done fantastic job at Instacrypto. Oh my God, the voice is echoing. Okay, but also I think the warning is very important.
Yes,
because most people don't understand the cryptocurrency or they're investing it like left, right, center, not even knowing what exactly it is. So that warning is really, really needed.
Yes, I think those are very well set warnings, but you should understand the thin line that they have
exactly
drawn around it.
Exactly.
It's legal. You can go ahead and use it, but don't do bigger transactions. Don't fall into a pit by selling your house and buying crypto with that. Those kind of things.
Yeah, so there have been a lot of, in the chats, there is a lot of criticism on the media. Like you rightly said, those were the tough days, I must say. It was very difficult to call the media for a conference and forget about believing. People actually, how does the FUD gets created today? There is FUD. How does it created? Because of the news around it. People start selling it. Oh, this has happened. Sell everything. And especially in those days, I can imagine that when a media person says like this, a newspaper talks shit about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin without even knowing what kind of FUD will that cause, and this would really break that belief system for someone who has not really truly understood the power of it.
Yeah. So those are the small things. It comes with time, those kind of understanding.
Yeah. Sobia says in India, it's a lack of awareness. People, why not go to the media? We need more conferences and seminars to spread the awareness. We should start the basics first. Your take on banking, Gopi is saying your take on banking. So I think you already mentioned how the bankings are working. Banks are a centralized system and how they are manipulating things. But again, if you would like to give some points, and then, yeah.
So in terms of banking, I have a different take on it. Yeah. Because banking goes differently in different countries. Okay, some countries, banks are the government. I can name those countries openly.
My God.
It is the USA, it is UK, it is Germany. Their banks are in bed with their government people. They get up together and they say, okay, how do we screw people? How do we control them? How do we make more money out of them? Because they're never satisfied. So they have moved on from a banking perspective, which is helping people in financially, to controlling people financially. So that kind of system has happened in the West. Why they're able to succeed in that is because 97% of the people in the West, which I said about those names of those countries, are dependent on their banks. Take away banking from a person, he cannot even work.
Exactly. Yeah, he won't be able to survive in the society.
Yeah. So how do I know about all this? It's because I did a lot of research. I learned about a few small group of people who are there called gypsies. they're the 3% of the population who are not depending on the banks in that Western country, are called gypsies, jippos, jippolatas, whatever the names are. When you call that name, that means you're being looked down upon. Why? Is only because they're not on the banking ladder. They're not on the credit card ladder. They don't have a credit card. They don't have a debit card. They can't go straight away online and buy something. It's the discrimination that they're building so that everybody comes on the banking. Once everybody comes on banking, then they can control you very easily, because the more people on banking, the more easily they're controlling you. So how do they do that? They do that on few simple rules that they follow. They follow by pumping more money into housing, inflating housing price, and then making it collapse so that more people are still owe them a lot of money, so that they more time they're in control. Say 25 years is the mortgage, that is the length of the mortgage time. But once the price is high and they bought that at a high price and the prices collapse, they can never sell their house. They can never pay back that money back. They will never hold that kind of a job to pay back that money. So instead of 25 years, though, now they're paying back the loan for 50 years. So who's happy? Banks are happy, because you as a person now depending on the banks for 50 years of their life. That means you could be dead and gone before even you clear your debt on the bank. So that's what they like. Those kind of things are happening. Now with the housing is just one of them. They do that in companies. They do that with students. They do that. It's like a game, and it's like nobody can see that. Why Indians cannot see that? Because Indians are only busy studying MBBS and engineer and whatever that we are doing. We're never studying about finance. The few things that we can study in masters, we have to go back to US and UK, do an LSE, London School of Economics, study only there. After studying, how many people come back to India to teach the people of Indians that this is what is the control of money that's happening? Those things are not there. Because those things are not there, they're flourishing in their countries, and they're making use of those few systems that they have to dominate the other countries. How do they dominate? They dominate by pumping money into their companies so that their companies don't pay back that kind of interest. In the USA, in New York, the federal banks give billions of dollars to these companies who are now in India. These companies in India are controlling Indian market. How do they get that kind of power? Is that they get a lot of money, like I told you, billions of dollars from the federal bank at a near 0% interest. Means 0.00001% of interest for every $1 billion. They'll be paying back 100 rupees as their interest for every month. If I can get that kind of money and pay only that kind of interest, I can control the world. I can build a business which flourishes and serves the whole public of the world. I will not get that kind of money. Those banks and those companies will get that kind of money because they love that control of their banks and their companies doing in terms of the world. Those kind of things are happening today. Those are the real threat to the system. What else do they do with this money? They print a lot of money. What do they do by printing a lot of money? They fill up their own banks with a lot of money. They call themselves, yeah, they're big in their country. They have a lot of resources. They have zero resources. They call themselves, they're holding 4.5% of the gold in the world. It is a complete lie that the federal bank says. I will vouch on that, because it has been 31 years. The federal bank's deposit and their gold repository has been audited. 1987 was the last time anybody has audited the bank gold stocks, the holdings. They call themselves they're holding so much. They're not holding. They've sold everything off, and they're running an economy with nothing as back to their system. Nothing back to their economy. So they're still printing that. What do they use after printing that dollars? They and their company can go out to the other countries in the world and buy resources from those countries. I'll tell you a classic example. Is there in Bangalore? There is this bank called I'll tell you one of those banks that is there in Bangalore. This bank has also not made any profit since last 20 years. They still get that free money with near 0% interest money. They bring that money and they pay a little bit more than the other companies in Bangalore and pick up better talent. So what are they doing? By printing their own free money in their country, they're picking up good talent from India and making their talent work for them. So by manipulating value across the globe, they're able to pick up resources, pick up good people for their work. Those kind of things are very bad for the economy, for very for developing and underdeveloped nations. So with cryptocurrency is actually eventually going to stop all this and bring it back to like a neutral and and a similar playground for all the people in the world.
Yeah, I mean, that's PNB scam is the biggest example from India recently.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of chats. Once, okay, yeah, Gopi is saying JP Morgan CEO called BTC a scam earlier. Now he started using it. Yeah, saying thanks for explaining how the banks are exploiting the people. True. Your take, yeah, perfect. So great, Vikram. It was awesome having you. There is so much information shared. Honestly, I did not know so much of information that I learned from you. I do want to thank you. But before we wrap up, there are a couple of more features that I found on Instacrypto that if you could just highlight. So one of them is also the introducing referral program as well, and UPI. So can you talk us on that? How does the referral works and how does the UPI works?
So I can start with the UPI part of it.
Yeah.
The reason we introduced UPI, because when you are sending funds to us and receiving cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
you want it instantly and we want to send you instantly.
Yeah.
With UPI, it makes it easy for you to send that same value to us instantly. That's how the crypto works, and similarly how crypto works, what we have in existing system is UPI. Also, why we featured the UPI on our website is because UPI does not charge you any money, and it's a free system built by the government of India, not by a private company. UPI allows a lot of apps to ride on it and use that feature to send and receive funds instantly without any charge, because it's just one simple software that has been built by this group of people. I know the guy who built the codes for UPI. I met him in person. I've been in his conference. They have the great thoughts in their mind, because if you know what is UPI, UPI is a very unique feature only available in India. I will repeat this. India is the first ever country to build a product like UPI. It is not there in any country in the world. It could be Japan, South Korea, USA, any forwarded nation or forward thought thinking nation. They don't have this feature. That means they will have in that country about 200 banks. Between these two banks, when you move funds, it's still TDS. It is still time consuming value. It takes money. And those things are not really open for people to use instant value to be moved between the banks. But in India, we have that feature. That's what we call is UPI. So I wanted to bring the UPI on our platform so that people can use this kind of valuable feature that is there. Also, UPI helps us, meeting our goals of sending people instant values. If we can send people instantly the rupees, we would like to receive instantly rupees also, so that people don't waste their time in receiving their product, eventually the cryptocurrency. That's why we introduced UPI. There's a lot more that we have to work around UPI to make them more, user friendly for people, and build UPI at a level where you can transfer bigger values also in future. But right now it is at a smaller scale, but we will soon do it at a bigger volume. That's UPI part of it. I'm soon gonna come up with a nice blog on it, so that people read about why we have UPI. The next thing that we can talk about is the referral program, like Shiv said. The referral program we built so that people can benefit out of our system to themselves, not to these bigger companies that's helping us publish our products. Say Google and Facebook and those things are very centralized and very huge companies. We don't want to support those companies with our money. We want to support our own people with our money. So if you are a person who is using Instacrypto, you will get a referral link. Use that referral link to give it to your friends and family. If they use our system through your referral link, you will get 100 rupees voucher that gets collected on your backend. The more the vouchers, the more times you can use them on our exchange. Every time when you place an order, say our orders are minimum is 500 rupees. With a voucher that you get, you place the order of 500 rupees, you will be paying only 400. You will get 100 rupees discount. Those kind of features is available through referral program. And these referral programs are eventually a feature back to people. We want our own users to use our feature and use the money that we're going to use for marketing. Instead of giving it to the companies, might as well give it to our subscribers.
True. So there is one question here from Best Collection. He says, what are the banks supported? Is every bank supported? And I also want to know, Vikram, that when we sell a cryptocurrencies on Instacrypto, the money that the INR, does it directly comes into our bank account, or do we have to make any withdrawal?
No, it comes directly into your bank account. There is no two steps of withdrawal.
Okay.
You selling your crypto, you send your crypto, you receive your money in your bank account. You don't receive it somewhere else and then you ask for transfer. There's nothing like that. It comes directly into your bank account.
Oh, okay. Perfect. And so is every bank supported? How would that? How would you answer?
100%. All banks in India are supported on our Instacrypto. UPI may not be 100% because UPI, some banks are still not accepting that. If you're using one of those banks which is not allowing you to hold an UPI wallet ID and send through your UPI ID, that might be a little hindrance, but IMPS is available everywhere. And 99% of the banks are already on UPI. I think more or less they are. So it's easy for you to transfer these funds across.
So UPI is the only method through which a person can deposit money, can buy crypto here?
UPI and IMPS is two ways. IMPS is also available. Okay. Since they both are instant, is why we are using the feature.
Amazing. All right, thank you so much, Vikram, for joining us, and thank you so much everyone for joining us here. Let me see if there is anything interesting. Awesome. And the media is covering the TRP news. Exactly. Sometimes I wonder how this media actually take time out to stand with a mic in front of a celebrity and asking their lifestyle question. I mean, there are so many more important things in the country that needs to be done.
It's all about sales, my man. What news sells in their portal is what they will cover.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency and informative news, very few people will subscribe to it. So they're not interested in that. A gossip, a bad news, or a scandal, those kind of covers a lot more attention from people and lot more coverage for the media. So they cover those things more. It's matter of fact, you can't change that in the existing system. But whatever we can do, we should do our best.
True. Dinaka says, super interview, Shiv. You are amazing. Vikram, you are very amazing as well. Okay, Citibank is not supporting UPI. Citibank has been acting very funny. They stopped their own people using debit card from buying, which is weird.
I'll tell you why. Citibank, because Citibank is one of the main board members in the federal bank. That means they decide what happens in the world and how the banks should work in the world. So anything which gives power back to people, they're not happy with that because they want the power and they want to control.
So they simply hate crypto, nothing else.
Definitely, because crypto takes away their business.
Right. All right. Thank you so much, Vikram, for coming on the show. It was a pleasure having you. And thank you so much in the audience for asking this question. This has been very interactive session. And before we wrap up, Vikram, any message that you want to share in terms of how should people go about it? Any last thing that you want to share that I haven't asked you?
I guess I think we've shared all kind of information about it.
Yeah.
I'm really great. It was really nice interview, and thank you very much to you, Shiv, and you managed to organize such a nice event. And thank you very much to all the audience who had the questions, who had the time and understanding to come in and indulge in our video and our meetup. Thank you everybody, and we look forward to having you on our Instacrypto and experiencing crypto and molding the finance for the future with every individual.
Yeah, please go ahead and try Instacrypto. I think it's one of the unique exchange, I must say, that is launched in India. Very impressive, and I know why it is impressive now. So okay, so kudos to you, Vikram, and thank you so much again, and see you soon. Take care.
Thank you very much. Yeah, see you guys. Bye.